Driverless vehicles caught on camera illegally passing school buses as students get on and off, seen on video between train tracks and a rail stop arm, and blocking first responders during the recent 6th Street mass shooting. For the first time, Waymo is sitting down answering our questions about the videos raising concerns in Austin and around the country as the state looks to regulate this growing sector of the transportation industry. Neighbors living on this South Austin street don't have to look far to see the prevalence of autonomous vehicles in the city.
They are coming through this neighborhood all day long.
In the morning and the afternoon.
The AVs are so frequent here. One person even put up a sign.
There goes one right now, going up and down the street.
Where do Waymos have to be so quickly that they need to cut through residential streets?
There are 6 AV companies operating in Austin, but only one operates hundreds of driverless cars that are fully autonomous. Waymo.
You're here.
David Marginis is Waymo's Director of Product Management.
At our current scale and with our current safety record, every week that goes by in Austin, there is an injury-causing collision that's avoided because Waymo is on the road.
Waymo's latest safety data from last December in 4 cities where it operates shows its driverless vehicles had 82% fewer injury-causing crashes than those with a human behind the wheel. But Austin Police Lieutenant William White, who leads APD's Highway Enforcement Unit, says the rollout of autonomous vehicles in the city has not always been smooth. If you could, in one word, describe the working relationship or the process of integrating autonomous vehicles into Austin, what word would you use?
The first word that comes to mind at this point is frustrating. For the most part, several of the companies are more slow rolling the process. For example, like Tesla and Zoox, they're starting out with smaller fleets. And I only select Waymo because they have the largest fleet. Their process by flooding the market with all these vehicles, as you've seen, has created some significant difficulties for public safety.
Waymo began testing its autonomous vehicles in Austin in 2023. City data on AVs filed by city workers, first responders, and residents showed 20 complaints the following year. That surged to more than 130 last year, when Waymo went from covering 43 square miles of Austin to 90 square miles with more than 100 vehicles. The complaints detail Waymo stopping in the middle of the road and failing to follow hand signals from police officers, among other safety concerns.
We've seen near misses of where they almost hit other cars because they're not following the officer's directions, and they say they're working on it, there's software fixes and things like that, but it seems like, if anything, a lot of the problems continue, the same ones we see, or sometimes new ones develop that are sometimes worse.
In January, the National Transportation Safety Board began investigating Waymo after our investigation found the company's driverless cars were caught on video illegally passing Austin school buses 25 times this school year, often with students visible on the road. Waymo and the Austin Independent School District would not discuss the details of the violations with us before the NTSB releases its final report. The federal agency says that won't be complete for at least another year.
I'm really looking forward to that report because I think it will shed light on Waymo's approach, any of the safety implications that might have resulted from those citations, and what our path looks like going forward.
KXAN reached out to other school districts in major cities across the country where Waymo operates. Only one other district reported similar issues with the autonomous vehicles illegally passing its buses. Video from Atlanta Public Schools show at least 10 similar violations this school year. Waymo filed a voluntary recall and deployed a software update to prevent its cars from passing stop school buses in December after our reporting. In the recall report, Waymo said even when its cars pass buses, its system to detect and avoid vulnerable road users and collisions remained fully functional.
You'll be able to see what happens next.
Marginis showed us a scary moment in Northwest Austin in 2024 when that system was on full display.
When she actually stumbles into the road, 2 things are happening at once. It's swerving at the same time as braking. The ability to see and to understand and predict the behavior of all of the road users, I think, is really paramount to great performance here.
But video shows Even after Waymo's safety recall, its vehicles were seen again passing stop school buses in Atlanta and Austin.
I'm telling you now, if our kids can't get off the school bus safely, then these Waymos are not safe enough. And we need to sideline them until we know exactly that a child can get off the bus safely.
Texas State Senator Royce West sits on the Senate Transportation Committee that's created the state's regulations around AVs.
I'm pretty certain the manufacturers understand what the issues are and that they will address those because they're going to be held accountable and responsible for them next legislative session.
Starting next month under Senate Bill 2807, AV companies will be required to seek authorization to operate on Texas roads. And the Texas DMV will have the authority to revoke or restrict AVs from operating if an investigation finds a vehicle has caused or is likely to cause serious bodily injury. The changes come as Waymo expands to Houston and Dallas. Is there a fear that there might be more regulation down the road?
Waymo certainly doesn't fear regulation. I think that we recognize that we are operating in a safety critical environment on public roads, and we think that a great regulatory framework is going to be something that's going to make the road safer and the industry healthier. And so, no, I would say we're not fearing regulation. I think what we need is consistency in regulation.
We reached out to several AV companies, including Tesla and Zeus, which is expanding this year. Zeus robo-taxis do not feature a steering wheel, a point that APD said could be problematic if the vehicles were to freeze up or in an emergency. Zeus has not yet responded to that concern, but they did tell us this in a statement. Before we ever drive our vehicles in any capacity, we first engage with the appropriate local and state officials and regulators, including hosting trainings with local first responders and law enforcement. Tesla did not respond to our questions. Right now, there are hundreds of Waymos operating autonomously in the city of Austin with no human safety monitor behind the wheel. And 5 other companies operating in Austin are at various stages of mapping and testing their autonomous vehicles on the roads. Our investigation found, despite the city tracking hundreds of safety concerns with AVs, the Austin Police Department rarely issues tickets to driverless cars.
Where is it? Where is it?
On March 1st, as first responders worked to get to a deadly mass shooting in downtown Austin,
Where is it?
video captured at least one of the emergency vehicles rushing to get to the scene blocked.
Avo, come on! Go!
The vehicle impeding that ambulance, an empty Waymo.
I wasn't surprised because, I just knew it was a matter of time.
Austin police say it took more than a minute for an officer to take control of the vehicle and move it out of the way.
It usually doesn't go that quickly. If that active shooting had been going on at that moment and police officers were trying to get through to get there, that minute is a lot of time.
What was happening there?
In the wake of that tragic event, one of our users hailed a Waymo vehicle to come and pick them up in the area nearby.
Waymo's director of product management, David Marginis, said the video captures its driverless car trying to turn around.
What our vehicle experienced was essentially that scene changing dynamically in the moment, and it wasn't able to act as fast as we would have liked. We were very thankful that the city of Austin, themselves said that it didn't play a role in patient outcomes.
Transportation and Public Works data since 2023 shows more than 200 complaints about AVs from city workers, first responders, and residents. Many detail Waymos freezing on the road and driving into areas police have asked them to avoid. Despite that number of complaints, court data shows in that same period, APD has cited AVs only 9 times.
We could certainly issue way more.
APD said unlike with human drivers, its officers have to take the extra step of writing an affidavit to cite an AV.
It's lengthier, like it's essentially a narrative, and then they send it over to my office where we review it, and we have to look up who is the registered agent for the company in Texas, because that's the person that's responsible for handling their affairs. And then it has to be signed by the officer, it has to be witnessed by another officer, then it has to be sent back to the municipal court, and we're hoping at some point there's something that they do legislatively that will make it easier for departments to just simply issue something to the vehicle without it being so in-depth and problematic and cumbersome for officers.
Records show Austin Independent School District issued dozens of civil citations to Waymo for illegally passing its buses this school year. Cameras on board make it possible for the district to automatically cite drivers caught violating the law, a legal carve-out not available to local police departments.
When a human receives a $300 ticket, it is a strong motivator for them to do better. We, I think, have great motivation already to do as well as we can because our focus is earning the trust of the community and the trust of regulators, and to be able to expand.
Despite ongoing issues with AVs in Austin, Waymo's public data shows compared to an average human driver over the same distance in the cities where Waymo operates, its automated driving system is involved in 92% fewer crashes that cause serious or fatal injuries.
Oh, he did a good stop. He looked left, right, left. And then that guy just rolled right behind him and didn't look.
That data matters to Kathy Sokolic. In the years since her 9-year-old nephew died after a neighbor's truck hit him, she's advocated for safety improvements on Austin roads.
They follow the laws for the most part. I know they're also learning, but I know that if it had been an autonomous vehicle, that day in 2016, my nephew would be here with us.
The cars are great in the sense of they're safe because you know the driver isn't impaired, he's not texting, he's not drinking, and they're good in a controlled environment at following the rules of the road for the most part than the average human driver. But once you introduce that human element, that lack of social awareness on their part, that's when we really start to see problems. They haven't seemed to be able to figure that out yet.
In the coming days, the Texas DMV will launch a program that allows first responders, the public, law enforcement to submit complaints about autonomous vehicles. The agency will have the ability to revoke or restrict an AV company's ability to operate if an investigation finds the vehicles have caused or are likely to cause serious bodily injury. State Senator Royce West, who was one of the lawmakers behind legislation allowing AVs to operate in the state, says more legislation could be coming. But first, he says he's looking to see the results of the National Transportation Safety Board's investigation into Waymo's operating around school buses, an investigation launched after our reporting. Online now, explore this interactive map of AV incidents the city is tracking and Waymo's safety data. Just go to kxan.com/driverless.